Hey, hi everyone. For this next video, we are going to discuss about the female reproductive system. This will be on page 82 of your textbook. All right, so for the female reproductive system, there are a few parts that we need to know. The first one we are going to understand is the ovary. Okay, so the ovary is this, let me use a different color. All right, so this two little spheres over here. All right, so the ovary they produce eggs. All right, so the eggs are produced during ovulation. Okay, so the eggs are released during ovulation on day 14 of the menstrual cycle. Okay, and they also produce female sex hormones, and these female sex hormones are the ones that cause puberty in the ladies. All right, and there are two sex hormones that good to know, not important. All right, one is known as progesterone, and the other one is known as estrogen. All right, so these two sex hormones are the ones that regulate the puberty and the menstrual cycle in females. Okay, so the eggs are released and they will travel through this tube. All right, and this tube is known as the oviduct. Okay, so the eggs will, when they travel through the tube, they'll be waiting for the sperms to arrive. And if the sperms fertilize the eggs, it will be at the oviduct. Okay, so the fertilization takes place in the oviduct. All right, let's say the fertilization takes place. Okay, the fertilized egg, the zygote, will then travel downwards towards the egg part, and this triangular shaped structure is known as the uterus. All right, so the uterus is where the embryo can develop into a fetus. All right, and what's important about the uterus is that it actually contains a lining. We call it the uterine lining. All right, to prepare for the implantation of the embryo. Maybe I'll just add in here implantation of embryo. All right, so that's if fertilization takes place. If there's no sexual intercourse, no fertilization, the uterine lining will break down, and this breaking down, all right, is known as menstruation. Okay, so that's the uterus. Okay, very very important structure where the fetus will develop into a small little baby that comes out after 9 months. Okay, there's a few other structures that we need to know. Maybe from the front view is a little bit easier. Okay, so one that is at the tip of the uterus. Okay, so over here there will be the cervix. Okay, so the cervix is a ring of muscles that covers the uterus, and it will open up during childbirth. Okay, so for example, the cervix can open up to 10 cm wide. All right, when the during labor. Okay, so that the baby's head can come out first, followed by the body, and the here this one that I just drew an arrow, that canal here is known as the vagina. So that's where the penis enters and releases the sperm. Okay, some other interesting things, you see this structure over here that's slanted to the side is known as the bladder. All right, so the urine comes out from the bladder. It's not on the right side of the ladies, but it's drawn to the side so that you can see the female reproductive system, but it's actually at the center of the body. Okay, so that's for the front view. Okay, for the side view. All right, so just to be aware, we have the vagina here, and then here is the anus, and if slightly in front here, this will be the urethra and the bladder. Let me just draw it here. Okay, so this will be the bladder. Okay, so it takes a bit of time to get used to the side view, but it is important. You need to be able to recognize the structures at the side view, especially of the reproductive organs. All right, so just to recap a little bit, what's important here is we need to understand that during ovulation, which is on day 14 of the menstrual cycle, all right, the ovary will release the egg cell, all right, and it will be fertilized at the oviduct. Okay, if it's fertilized, the fertilized egg will travel to the uterus to be implanted, and the implanted one is the embryo. Okay, so the embryo will then develop into a fetus, and uh, during childbirth, I mentioned this. All right, so the contractions of the uterus will push the baby out of the cervix through the vagina and out of the body.